It's a me, Don Casio, and this is New Donkest News. Much like Cuba in 2015, the embargo's been lifted and we're free at last to give you our review of the Nintendo Switch. The latest video game console from the house that Miyamoto built hit store shelves on Friday, March 3rd, 2017, and we have spent dozens of hours playing around with it. Now, based on the commercials thus far, it seems like the perfect console if you're the kind of person that brings expensive electronics to a pickup basketball game, or if you're a wealthy millennial living alone in the biggest one-bedroom apartment in San Francisco. But what about those of us who got dunked on and aren't allowed back on the court? What about those of us who live in a Harry Potter-style hidey hole under Jessica Chobot's staircase? Is the Nintendo Switch worth our money? Should our bodies be Reggie? Well, after spending extensive amounts of time with the console, I can say yes, but with some pretty major reservations, so let's get into it. When you unbox the Switch, you'll be up and running in no time flat. It comes packaged with the Switch console, one Joy-Con controller for each hand, two Joy-Con straps, an HDMI cable, a dock to connect to your TV, a Joy-Con grip, which is basically a traditional video game controller mount that the Joy-Con slide into, and an AC adapter. If you're worried about taking it out of the box and immediately losing both the console and the Joy-Cons, you're not wrong. It weighs a mere 0.88 pounds when both controllers are attached, and if you have big hands, you'll feel like a giant playing puny human video games. Thankfully, you can either attach the Joy-Con to the Switch console like a more comfortable version of the Wii U gamepad, or you can use the Joy-Con grip, which feels like a smaller Xbox controller and has actually been my preferred method for playing on the couch at home thus far. But what the Switch lacks in internal storage space, 32 gigabytes, it makes up for in versatility. Nintendo's made a lot of hay about how you can easily go from using your console with your TV, where it displays in 1080p, to using it on the go, where it's locked to 720p. Now, graphically speaking, I haven't noticed a drastic difference between the two, but I know it's important to a lot of you out there. And playing it in bed at 3 in the morning, I was actually impressed by how good it looked and how comfortable it felt in my hands. One thing you should be aware of, though, is that you might need to have an unobstructed line of sight between your controllers and the console when it's in TV mode, or else they could potentially desync, or you'll get some seriously wonky motion control glitches, much like you would with the Wii or the Wii U if you were away from the motion bar. For a second, I actually thought that Link was having a stroke, but then I realized I just need to sit up on my goddamn couch. As for battery life, you might be experiencing flashbacks to the days of the Game Gear, and rightly so. Nintendo says that the Switch will last between 2.5 and 6 hours in portable mode. According to a video by Game Explain, they eked out roughly 2.5 hours while playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on max brightness with Wi-Fi on. With no software running, Family Gamer TV managed to get 5 hours and 12 minutes out of the Switch. While I was playing on the TV mode, my Joy-Cons began to finally flash the low battery warning after basically playing for a full day pretty intensively. Your mileage may vary, but it sounds like you want to keep your AC adapter at the ready, especially if you're marathoning Zelda on the go. Now, Nintendo's promised a substantial day one update, which includes access to the eShop, adding friends, SD card support, software updates, sharing screenshots over social media, and other important social networking features. Since they weren't available during my review period, I can't really comment on them, but they sound pretty par for the course of what you'd get from other consoles. Honestly, I'm just grateful they decided to ditch friend codes, because those were harder to remember than Jessica Chobot's Starbucks order, which is, I believe, a double venti dirty over half calf triple pop hazelnut latte cafe au lait with a quad shot of soy and a brick of Peruvian uncut cocaine. Seriously, it takes forever to order. But speaking of things that are actually addictive, let's talk about the games. First of all, Nintendo decided to give us a cart rather than Mario, by which I mean all of the games are now on tiny SD card-sized cartridges that you'll almost definitely misplace or will be stolen by crafty mice. The only launch title they sent to reviewers, and likely the only game you'll be playing in the near future, is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it's a phenomenal game with endless replay value, an expansive open world, addictive gameplay mechanics, and a compelling plot that welcomes both newcomers and series vets alike. Our full review's coming to the site later this week, but the game is one of the best launch titles I've ever played on any system, and will likely sit alongside the likes of Super Mario 64 and Halo as one of the best launch titles of all time. However, that's pretty much it. There's a first-party exclusive like Super Bomberman R, and a handful of promising indies like the throwback JRPG I Am Setsuna, and the addictive action-adventure gameplay of Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, but other than that, we're getting a smattering of multi-platform releases that seem like they'd be best played on other platforms. Big-ticket games like Splatoon 2, Pokemon Stars, Fire Emblem Warriors, and Super Mario Odyssey are on the horizon, but right now they feel like we're waiting for game dough rather than something tangible. The Nintendo Switch occupies a very interesting space within the video game console market, because Nintendo's positioning it to be your go-to entertainment system, whether you're at home or on the go. It's trying super hard to be a really cool hybrid like a Manticore, which is like a scorpion lion, but only time will tell if it lives up to its mythic reputation, or if it winds up being sadder than Nina Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist. I know, I'm sorry, it's too soon for that. It's really too soon. I'm sad thinking about it. One thing I can say for certain is that, like my esteemed colleague Malik Forte proclaimed on Nerdist News Talks Back, this is going to be the beginning of the end for the 3DS. It does everything that console can do, but better. So enjoy your time together while it lasts. I'll leave you folks with a simple test to decide whether or not buying a Nintendo Switch is right for you. Before you decide to buy one off Dankter69 on eBay, make sure to ask yourself the following. Do I need to upgrade from my 3DS and or Wii U? Do I have a biological imperative to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild right now? Am I a patient person? Do I hate having $300? If the answer to one or more of these is yes, then the Switch might just be for you. Honestly, it's a tremendously fun, innovative video game console that can't help but feel a little bit undercooked compared to its competition. While it will appeal to Nintendo's core fan base and dazzle early adopters with the Zelda of it all, I have serious concerns about its long-term viability until we see more robust features, more and better games, and the freaking Virtual Console. Why are you launching with the Virtual Console? That's money on the table you're just leaving there. In this current state, I give it 3.5 out of 5 burritos made in that classic New Donk City style, which is to say loaded with psychedelic mushrooms and mustache hairs. But what do you guys think? Will you be picking up the Switch? Why or why not? What games do you want to play on it, announced or otherwise? Let's discuss. Thank you to Qualcomm for sponsoring today's show. Qualcomm and Lionsgate have joined forces to create an incredible VR experience based on the upcoming Power Rangers film. To celebrate, we're partnering to send 3 lucky winners to LA for the film's premiere on March 22nd. Each winner will also receive a Google Pixel phone and a Daydream headset. What? Check out the link in the description below to learn more and enter to win.